maybe we can wait few minutes for just few people to appear.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
I'm not
Um,
very popular now. I'm getting some bad publicity um
yeah,
recently,
same here.
unfairly, because I'm
Eh,
great community
same
member.
here.
um should we share it to Juno or Discord or not?
I
What?
mean, look, you can do whatever you like. I don't mind. Okay.
um,
And Don, I would. I mean, given what you and I have discussed, I personally I would like to keep this zoomed out a lot further than Juno.
yeah, it's
Um,
problem with all Cosmos chains. So okay, I'm gonna start. I'm not gonna share this with anyone. I don't even want.
okay, that's fine, man. Now, keep in mind, I don't think I agree with everything you think here,
mm,
and I'm going to offer some constructive disagreement as you go. Hi, choke
Hi,
somebody.
Varma. I actually don't even care. I'm joking.
Oh, Rama does it with a tear of joy in his eye. Well, no, I think Don's kind of right to complain. Um, I don't know.
Let's state the fact. Juno has the most engaged community in Cosmos. Maybe only Atom can compete, and maybe Osmo. Um, it's so strong. Like it's insane. Like when I make Juno videos, I just know it's gonna trend,
Well,
and
to be
I'm
honest
gonna.
with you, just to be nice and straight with you, I think that Juno, Osmo, and the Hub have really highly engaged communities, and
It's
it's
insane.
wonderful.
So here is the interesting part that you have such engaged community, and instead of actually developing the value and making it right, you end up liquidating your community, and this is crime. This is so I want to say
Not well. Wait, you got to dig in deeper, and mm, that that's those trying to leave the community can't be fair. Well, I want to speak to that actually. I mean, that's
Jacob, can I ask you, maybe what is the token burned out of Juno developer fund on average monthly?
I don't know.
You don't know.
That's not.
Would you agree
So
this burnout is a little too high?
since I don't know what it is, I seriously I
Right,
don't
right,
know.
right.
Do you know?
I don't, but I see, like, it's we surely know that the pressure on the token itself, it's too high to sustain. And there is actually on-chain data. um Confio, which Juno decided to sponsor, just dump the tokens.
Well, let me
They
let
can
me
do it.
step.
They can
Well,
do it. I'm sorry they can do it, but like I understand people have
do
living
you
expenses.
hang on? Do you understand the depth of the importance of Confio's work to Juno?
I totally understand.
Tell me.
I totally understand. I
No,
question.
tell me. Tell me. What is the depth of the importance of Confio's
Well,
work to
Confio
Juno?
is on the forefront of development of the cosmosm. Is the core.
The forefront of it, or
It's the source.
correct?
It's the source.
And you know, basically, hi, I wrote the initial flawed uh, Cosmosm implementation for Juno, the one with the contract length button. And I mean, realistically, that came from two places. And I'm tracing lineage here because I think it's important. Okay. That came from, Confio, Cosmosm libraries, and Cosmosm generally. Um, Dante, I don't really track
I don't care. Actually, the Lobo is not the worst. I want to state Core One is relatively okay. There is Core One has really good people. Dimi, very good guy. Moral core. Jake Harnell, great guy. Actually, choose to never put the pressure on Juno. Block creators, despite very different politics between us, actually believe Juno doesn't put the pressure on Juno. Um, and Core One is also completely naive idiots, uh, driven by the woke culture and trusting into the people.
So
Um,
we nuked the concept of core one.
yeah, and it become even worse. It actually become even worse. So they're so naive that they. I want to tell you, Juno started so good, clean, and Juno got become number one chain infested with the champagne socialist. Is so infested beyond anything. It's just so dirty. It stinks. I can smell it here far away in Hong Kong, Jacob. It stinks so badly. It attracted
Okay,
because
I've got to ask you to stop for a second. No, 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 because you're using really, really vague catch-all terms.
yeah. I
Okay,
know. What I mean by
infested with
that,
the champagne socialists. Yeah.
this community pool, the idea of community development attracted so many bad actors that Juno decided to pay a lot of money for promises. Juno decided to pay a lot of money for the certain services, and if it will not become thin, if it will not change the direction, it's gonna die. And the assumption that next year we are gonna have bull market is gonna come.
I believe that you are being too hyperbolic on the it's going to die bit. And I want to zoom out, Don Don. I think you're way too zoomed in. You hit on something very powerful today. And personally, I don't want that powerful point lost in worrying about champagne socialists or whatever. Okay. Um, I I think that the hub, osmosis, and Juno need you down. Okay. Um, I mean, I don't know if you know what you set off in my brain today, but I want to walk you through it. Okay, what you set off in my brain is, oh my god, wait a minute, we could be we could be funding, well, the kind of thing that I okay. Why am I here? Open source software. Okay, how do I even get exposed to Bitcoin for the first time? Slashdot.org, which is an online community pretty much dedicated to the nerdy side of open source software. And that's okay. And there we go. There we go. Anyhow, I look, Martina. I know you have concerns, or Dom. I know you have concerns about funding and such. Okay, and
Yes, especially via subDAOs and the councils, because it looks like to me to similar model that undeveloped countries have. Essentially, you have few insiders deciding what's gonna get funded, and it's actually horrible. That's why all developed countries actually don't work in this way. You have to have really strong moral core on the council and make sure the people like, look, the money is not for everyone. This is not charity. This is the business, and we need to remove also the people who are paid for bullshit jobs, because this is very dangerous route. I would like to know. I actually want to know from Juno, and actually we go to Cosmos because it might head into very wrong direction with its funding. we need to know who getting paid for what. We actually need to know that in order to cut out the people that are not necessary. It's needed. Everyone does that. And it's good thing to thin out. It's good thing to let people go. Um the problem I have with the hub councils or subDAOs that would be created, I feel it could be even less effective than funding via community, because I believe it would, like, let's go with the interchain, right? Like, how many employees in the interchain are actually not providing value and getting hefty salaries, and the resources go wasted because the funds are completely not transparent?
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't know,
Yeah.
and I mean,
W- w-
I have to call to mind Sam for a second here. Sam Hart, okay, not FTX Sam, our Sam. Uh,
what Rarma means, I don't understand.
I don't know what Rarma means actually, but um, okay, I want to call in or call to mind Sam Hart because like I would have never thought some time ago that I'd end up on the same side of any governance issue with him. And as you know, he wrote he like cat herded Prop 82 into existence, and I still think it's directionally correct. So I'm not here to tell you that I agree with your notion that all councils or sub-DAOs should be defunded, because I don't agree with that. But what what I have a concern, which is that like we express a philosophy um, through our code, and a huge part of that is that the code is verifiable. Okay, it's open source, and I think that the most reasonable near-term restriction on any type of funding is just that it be open source. That and all resulting works, let's say, are like Apache 2. Okay, Apache 2 is an open source software license. It's what Tendermint is licensed under. And so what I feel that does, and Don, I'm basically requesting of you, gov props for Osmo, the Hub, Juno, that stipulate that work that results from both sub-DAO funding and council funding, and even for Osmo, I'd like to see this be a stipulation of grants program funding, be open source. And, I have a bunch of reasons for this, but I don't think it's even sensible to drill into these on a specific level, okay? Because what you kicked off in my head, right, was that there might be a general problem, okay? And I don't even want to go into specifics on open versus closed chain communities. Both exist, and on a very real level, that's fine. I want to assert strongly that, as a software developer, I feel that I should have the right to license my work however I'd like to. That includes, not licensing it to anyone, keeping it totally private. But I think there's a big difference when you get into the fact that we have, I think you're wrong, Rarma. Definitely think you're wrong. And, well, it's fine, Sailboy, but a nice one. Um, You see, Rama, filtering is, in my opinion, and open source, given that, you know, Tendermint itself is just about 8 years old, a little more possibly. We would have to ask Jay. And I walked through the commit history the other day, and guys, it's a lot. And furthermore, there was a lot of work put into making the lineage of that code visible. Hi, Ismail, if you happen to be watching. Guys, there was this commit, really weird one in Tendermint's history by a guy, Ismail Coffee. He's currently working on Celestia. And I reached out to him about it. The commit was delete everything. What? Right? What it actually was, he was merging disjoint repositories. Okay? So he deleted all the files and then added them again. And look, when that's a lot of additional work. Okay? So why'd you do that? Well, I wanted the commit histories to be there. Guys, a commit history is the history of additions to the code base over time. And he did that just for a small supporting library template. So, Don, I could sit here all day and I could listen to your various concerns. And I'm going to do that in a second, right? I'm going to show up and listen. But I think that what I would like to put forward to you, to suggest to you, okay, is that beginning with open source as a filter is a very, very good place. You mentioned Confio specifically. I don't know their specific situation, okay? I would like to tell you that Confio has done a hell of a lot for Juno. And that, in fact, why would I say hell of a lot? Juno wouldn't exist as a contract platform if it wasn't for sustained work by.
It's
It's not just Confio. It's really a whole community.
Stop
But
you for a
Confio
moment.
sort of took the tip of the
I
spear.
understand that Confio deserve to be paid. The monetary on engineering of Juno is on the way to kill Juno, and it's massive problem because if Juno decides to heavily pay for people who contribute, and like Confio, and then Confio liquidates 500,000 in Juno to support themselves, and Juno
Dollars or Juno? Quick
dollars
question.
dollars.
Okay. I didn't know.
From what I know, it's the anons on Twitter sending me messages with because do you actually know I have plugs in all private chat? I know what's happening. Like I just like people assume I'm not there because I'm not invited to some channel. We have plugs everywhere, motherfuckers. We have plugs.
Well, and the plants have plants, and the other plants have plants, and
I'm joking, okay? The issue is the monetary engineering is destroying itself, and you cannot sustain even if you need to pay. There is no so many stock companies, how they engineer the stock value. Do you
what buybacks?
they buybacks because they have cash.
Yeah, the
Otherwise,
buyback stuff is
that's
unethical, if you
that's
ask me.
monetary engineering. That's monetary engineering. Most of the companies like Oracle, those huge companies, Apple, that's how they engineer. That's why they heavily in cash. They continue that. Otherwise, they stock actually gonna slide down. That's kind of. And Juno has reverse engineering, which is heavily sell pressure with zero buy pressure, because they become sponsor of everything. And right now, as the solution, what they found is creation of more sub DAOs to pay out more. It's acceleration of the going to zero. It will not sustain There is no way it's sustained unless you're gonna get thousands of new users that see the value in Juno, which doesn't really have value. The token doesn't have. You need to. So I'm asking the like Strangelove and Confio, if you actually are supporting Juno, you need to thin out. You need to get paid, but you need to also find other sources, and you need to thin out. You need to like like Jake. Jake example in Mister. I understand you are a great developer and stuff, but
Well,
maybe
let's actually just on that topic. Jack is, according to Jack, these days mainly running his business. What I mean is, he's away from the keyboard a little bit, and taking care of building out Strangelove. And Strangelove is hiring engineers to support the Juno contract. Anyhow, Jack is a great
Mhm,
developer,
mhm,
and
mhm.
but you know what I've seen more than anything is
And
teaching.
Jack is also living in his own bubble of developers who live on 500,000 salary developers, which gonna end. We had great last 10 years of the progress of tech and really expensive salaries in the Silicon Valley and the places. But there is reason why Meta is firing people, right? There is reason for that. The reason is for that it's too much. And Jack Zampolin, I understand, have big expenses, but it's time to seek in other places of the world for developers that are cheaper. And getting back to your open source and funding and Rarma, the funding, how should be done? It shouldn't be decided by the council, who is composed of people like, let's say, I like Jack. I actually like Jack Zampolin, and they're like,
That's
yeah,
good. So do I.
how it works. There's insiders, and they're like, and those insiders run the companies, and then companies make proposal, they provide the service for $500,000. Council decide, good, we pay you $500,000. It cannot be
I,
this.
I, I don't I don't think that's actually how the Confio
How it happened,
situation went
how it
down at all.
tell me also, does it happen in the competition process, how it happened in developed societies, that you have contest and the best price and product wins? Does it happen this way or not?
Well, in in this case, that would strongly support funding Confio. Um, I take no issue with that. Um, Reality is, when I need to talk some hairy Cosmos SDK shit, um, yeah, Ethan from Confio is one of the guys I reach out to, and I really value his input. Um, and I think the inside baseball there was pretty clear. The ICF stepped out, and I certainly don't think that they should have. And I think that Juno is making an effort to support core development work, um, even when the ICF doesn't. And as you know, I'm a recipient of some of that. Well, not me, but Notional is a recipient of some of that. And what that actually goes to do is things like our work to port Cosmwasm to SDK 46, which is completed, but it requires constant maintenance because the SDK is kind of a moving target. And that's what Joe is, by the way. Joe's a derivative of that work. And in addition to that,
So Rarma saying, sorry for stopping you, like, how does Juno get approved? Is it contest? Is it open contest? Because I like, once again,
I
Juno,
believe,
Juno,
I believe,
no one knows where it goes, Jacob. No one knows, and I tell you, because people don't listen. Core does not listen. Core does not listen that there is people like Rarma, there is people like others who are a little bit sick of them. They actually don't understand. that the community will leave them. They don't
Has
understand because,
anybody put together a
because
document with the
champagne
specific
socialists, champagne socialists do not.
catch-all term? Don't do it. Like I don't see champagne socialism here. Okay.
Okay.
And Rarma, you're correct. Yep, that's the deal with C1. And so I suppose that you could say that, when you participate in Juno, one of the things that you're doing is kind of approving their way of operating. And overall, I do. I have a piece of concern, though. Okay, and I hope it gets heard because Burma, I'm telling you, it closed source. Okay, I don't think that we should fund that. And another sound, I mean, you're just wrong. If you look at C1 now, okay, all the information is there. So yeah,
Um, sorry.
that's
Um,
okay.
I've been so yeah, like it's actually not open source. Nothing about like there is some products being like open source, but all the accounting, all the books, it's closed
Are
source.
open.
Um,
I
yeah,
don't, I don't,
Rarma,
I,
but I'm a little bit
I,
concerned. Rarma, like this is concerned. I'm actually only one validator who is voting now on the no for the Prop 57 of communications subDAO, because it's like I read it and I see like fucking Soviet Union. Like it's like in the proposal it says like something about spreading good words about, which means like is your plan to spreading like propaganda that hey we unite
well, hang
community
on. If a chain is
community
a,
community
if a
driven
chain is
change.
a nation state, does a chain have a propaganda department? It's serious question. Serious question.
What?
Serious question for you. Okay, if a
Mhm.
chain is analogous to a nation state, does it have a propaganda department?
Well, the propaganda department will be there without the subDAOs and without wasting funds. So I want to tell you openly that, sorry, it's Prop 55, Communications subDAO. I know Rarma was asking. I'm gonna refuse to ever be sponsored by this subDAO. I'm gonna refuse to receive any money by this subDAO because I do not support this ideology of draining and liquidating community.
Well,
I
hang on a
I
second.
do not.
Well, yeah, but you're making it out to be, necessarily draining and liquidating community,
Not needed.
whereas
It's not needed. It's not needed subDAO. Not now. It's wrong. It's creating more.
how does this necessarily just lead to liquidation in your opinion?
The communication meant to incentivize the propaganda department with, of course, more Juno. In the moment when there is literally 10 people in the world caring about blockchain, and I
It's
saw
more than that,
similar
buddy.
ventures. I'm gonna tell you, making posters, sponsoring events doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The best advertisement is the good product that people are using, and this is I have concerns about doing the propaganda department. I don't think it's the right way, and I think people in Juno root getting desperate and trying to save it, and they
I think you're reading way too much into things, man. Personally,
that's
okay.
fine, that's fine. I'm gonna right, like I'm just gonna see the market cap shrinking, and I will be called father till it hits zero.
I'm not going to call you futter, okay? Because it's really really inspecific, okay? And in general, like when somebody calls somebody else a futter in crypto, it means they've got nothing, okay? So if you're getting called a futter, congratulations, your critics have nothing. you should stop making tweets that say I'm going to fud Juno, because if you're speaking from a place of fact, you shouldn't mess around with that terminology.
The
Okay.
reason why I use
Now,
this terminology, because everyone says I'm finding Juno, so I'm like giving it, okay, I'm finding, like, so when I make video about Juno, I'm not saying I'm making video about Juno, I'm finding Juno, because when I make videos
yeah,
about
but,
Juno,
but,
people
but
say I'm
stop.
finding. And
Don't, that term has no place in
and I
public
want to say to
discourse.
I never made videos to please anyone. This is my channel, and I'm not working for you guys. Like I'm just doing what I like. But there is the simple fact about me that I never took a single dollar from community pool. Never put my hand on the community
Okay,
pool.
but
Um,
why not?
because I'm disgusted with those who do. I'm disgusted with the people who come to community pool for their own benefit and nothing else, because I don't want to get paid by the promises that I provide value for Juno. I don't know if I provide value for Juno, and I don't accept being paid by the promises. And
Well,
that's what
I don't view you as making promises. I view you as a prolific content creator, and it's not promises, it's actions.
it's not me
Okay.
with my value. I will be fine. I'm telling you, I will be fine with what I do
Yeah,
because
I believe you. Anyway, look, I want to make like a request, kind of a pleading request. Okay. First of all, I think that you're wrong. That there should not be sub-asset control funds. Okay. I do think that it might be a good idea to have some sort of a veto mechanism, but if you look at Core One DAO, I mean, I don't actually think that that is appropriate. Okay, and if you look
Mhm.
at Sam's feedback, um, look, Sam's feedback is really good. And notice what he was talking about. He was like,
Sam seems
"What
like
if I'm?
honest guy. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
about the others. I want to know like how much funds is getting drained in via Interchain Foundation.
if you mean atoms, I think it's essentially none. Okay, the Interchain Foundation has really a great deal of Bitcoin and Ether, and you can check this. Okay, so
How much they have left, and how much
okay.
and how much they spent in the last 3 years, Jake.
Now hang
Do
on,
you
the
know? Do you
market
know?
it's a ton. I don't know the exact amount because keep in mind the prices fluctuate. Okay,
Do you know how much in the US dollar value did they tell you? Because they should know this.
nobody told me,
So you saying Interchain Foundation has no idea how much money they spent in 3 years? They
bro,
don't know.
bro. There are documents for the crowd sale that show the addresses for the crowd sale, and I checked them recently, but before the big recent dump, there was about $300 million there. Now, keep in mind that was before the big dump. There's probably less now. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, but when I say that they really don't spend a lot of atoms, I believe that to be correct.
That would be good.
Um,
That would be good. Um,
well, okay, it's just I believe that to be correct. I also believe that there are individuals and organizations that they pay in atoms for the purpose of alignment. Okay, so like if you have a contractor, right? Hi, I'm Paco the contractor, and I do blockchain stuff, right? Well, if you pay Paco the contractor in atoms, okay, then Paco has the opportunity to stake those atoms and then participate in the community as he sees fit. Now, I don't think it's actually right to stipulate that Paco never sells those atoms. Okay, they become his property and subject to his choices. I think that we see similar stuff with Juno, and my look, Don, I mean, I have a pleading request. Okay, it's for open source as a filter.
I will. Yeah. Open source. I do think is very important, but like, so how I see the funding. Okay, like I'm not. I'm actually think Interchain Foundation might be one of the best players there. Um, I think that whether if you need to make councils or sub DAOs for better effectiveness of funding, this should not be people from the outside, and they should not be incentivized by their work. So, Interchain Foundation is registered.
Hang on, can you explain? Can you break down that sentence? Should not be people from the outside, and they should not be incentivized for their work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So,
don't.
like
Yeah.
the outsiders, the meow, like I need to let meow in. Meow, you want to come in? Come.
Please let me know. We love cats. This is no show.
Meow, baby, little. Huh? So it's because I do believe if it's new actors, so can I use names or cannot use names? You would rather me not use names?
I mean, in general, I prefer the generalities, but if there's names to be named, go for it.
Okay.
It's your showdown.
I Atom 2.0 discussion, right?
Mhm.
So how I view
Yeah.
Interchain Foundation has quite few employees, right? It has
No,
the funds. Doesn't
I
have
believe.
them.
Hang on, ICF and like I'd love to bring say like Yusuf on. He's with the ICF in some capacity. Anyway, I believe there are 11 people strong. 11.
ICF 11 people
Yeah.
only.
Yeah,
Then
well,
I
no, Rama's always welcome. And
That's
Jacob's going
crazy.
to need
That's
to leave
crazy.
in a second.
ICF 11 people, 11
That's
people,
yeah, that's what I
and
heard.
hundreds of $1 million in custody managed by 11 people. And I would like it would be quite
Well,
ridiculous to like I
cash. I mean, I'm not sure I would call what the ICF has
yeah, okay, okay, okay,
cash.
okay. Sorry. Maybe ICF should employ people, competitive people, on the uh, good salaries. I think they are based in Berlin, right? The salaries in Berlin are not very high. I think like
Um, well, okay. Now we're talking about another organization that was founded during the so-called Great Organizational Restructuring to service software development needs. You know, of essentially the community. Okay, so we're talking about IG, right? I believe IG is headed by Billy Redican. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
I don't know, but like
Well, no, it matters though, and I'm just saying.
I mean,
I believe
salaries in
he's
Europe
lead
are not
there.
high. Centralized
Um,
organization as ICF, whatever,
well,
they employ people.
I wanna,
Go on,
buddy.
go on.
Salaries in the field are high. Okay, and I don't actually think that has a lot to do with geography. Okay, um, there's two ways to skin this cat. Okay, I'll be transparent about something about or my own organization. So salaries are high, but not in terms of you know dollars. I myself far below market, and same with the other founders. Okay.
Jacob,
Uh,
let me present the 11 employees of Interchain Foundation. That's 11 employees of Interchain Foundation that Jacob just mentioned.
well, okay. This IG team is not the ICF.
Not okay.
Okay, so
Okay. Okay.
yeah, exactly. The IG team is not
Mhm.
the Interchain Foundation, and
Right. So yeah, but I want to finish the thought. I think it makes sense to have people employed who do due diligence, and
but
they
well, they do, and you know
and
what?
mhm. So I think maybe it's worth to even like fund the like if Interchain Foundation needs money, like you fund in a little bit for the expenses. The people are on transparent companies, and those people are employed by the company, but they are not paid directly just to as the sub DAO team. They are the team that do due diligence to do this, and this is transparent way to allocate the funds. Because I even
Well,
think
okay, let me just say, I don't believe that it would be fair, say, like, to Notional's team members, for example. Okay, I just told you I earn far below market personally. Okay, I mean dramatically. Could be as little as 10th. Okay, um, but pay is high. Okay, pay is high in that Notional bootstrapped. Okay, completely. Notional has taken zero outside capital, and I own a hefty stake of Notional, as do the other founders, far higher than would be seen in like a Silicon Valley typical setup. Um, Maybe especially so for the technical co-founding team. Um, their equity stake is, I as much as 30x
Mhm.
Silicon Valley norms. Um, and so, like, I vibe with what you're saying about compensation, but you've got to keep in mind that one way or another, um, salaries are high.
I
Okay.
understand, but you also realize that when someone says the certain salary and says industry standard, all of these people around the world who's gonna read that, they will be like, bullshit, bullshit, you little motherfucker.
Well, yeah, but
You know that.
no, I mean, but I disagree with you though. I mean, if
But there
we,
are people, there are people who see bullshit in that now, and that's why people are upset. I tell you something. So yeah, it might look, I be honest with you, it looks like on Twitter and stuff there is some people angry with me, but it doesn't reflect the real picture, because on YouTube there is people commenting and there is a lot of people being very disappointed. But and the insiders, they cannot ignore that. They cannot continue doing this. They cannot be blindfolded.
well, hey, I've, you know, been Junoing since nearly a
And
year before Genesis, and I'm here, okay, and I'm listening to you, um, and I'm pushing back where I think that you're wrong, and I'm also trying to suggest something that I think is a really vital filter for not only Juno, but for any hub-like chain. Okay.
Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
are my concerns about the community funds and the bad actors being attracted to the community funds relevant, or you think it's not true that the community funds attract the bad actors who are coming for their own personal gain and not for the gain of the chain itself, with providing the work?
You know a Venn diagram with the two circles and the overlap?
No.
Really?
Ah,
Uh,
I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you do. You do? Yeah?
Yeah,
You
the
know,
two
the
circles.
two overlap. Okay. Look, I'm looking for people and organizations where their personal interests and the interests of the chain overlap nicely in the Venn diagram.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't think that we always hit it. I think that an excellent filter would involve stipulations around open source. I think that's a good filter for osmosis. I think that's a good filter for Juno. I think that's a good filter for the hub. And I think that because we're looking at nearly a decade of open source work on Cosmos, I don't think that the market conditions of Juno and crypto writ large and community pool activity. However, I mean, like, dude, no doubt. Like, so Confio, you say, market sold $500,000 for the Juno. Well, does that have an impact? Yes. Do I personally believe that it was likely worth it? Yeah, I do. And that's because of, hey,
I think this
let
is
me
also a
word this point
mistake.
right here.
Also
Okay.
a mistake for not diversifying into cash, because this is exactly the strength of the more centralized companies which have cash reserves to offset the impact of the token. And
Well, I mean, so I shared with you a little bit about how notional works, right?
mhm.
And that, like, overall our wages are below market, and like really below market. And that, no, I'm not going to publish our wage information. I don't think it's fair, you to anybody. And
Jacob, are yeah, you said no,
well,
wages.
hang on. And wait, what was your question again? Because
You wages below the market, right?
well, yeah,
Wages.
I was talking about below market wages, but yes, okay. So you were talking about like Confio funding. I don't know. I do not have a problem with that. Yes, you were talking about, so a centralized corporation would blah da 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 their cash flow and done. Um, Shell's a centralized corporation, and
Maybe
hang
that's
on,
why.
hang on. We run Cashlight, bro. Okay, we do that so that we don't need to sell what we reserve, what we earn in tokens, because we think we basically want to bet on the communities that we service. Okay. Now, here's the thing: other centralized corporations serve these chains and have to do their own accounting in their own way. All right, and so you mentioned Confio, you mentioned Strangelove, and I can't look when we operate in the manner that we do, man. Like we we take risks. It's real, okay? Um, and I can't say, oh, Confio, oh, other, like, do this and enjoy an enhanced risk profile.
Mhm.
I feel like that's wrong.
Do you have senior devs at Notional?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes.
Uh, are they Vietnamese?
Yes,
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
real.
What is the senior devs salary in Vietnam?
I think I told you that I wasn't going to divulge that. I can tell you that, I'm not going to go into
I
our
tell you,
team's
Jack
pay.
Zampolin said if the dev is paid like 50K or 100K a year, it's probably not a good dev. Do you
Um,
agree with the words of Jake Zampolin?
it might, yeah. And look, our
Yeah,
co-founders, hang
agree
on,
or
our
not?
co-founders, look, our co-founders became millionaires. If you count the equity value, USD millionaires, the company's been around for 18 months. Okay. I believe that compensation has to stay high. Now, you want to talk about wages here in Vietnam? Well, for software devs, and I'm not talking about at Notional because we have bespoke arrangements with literally everybody. Okay, but for new hires, we pay several times the market rate. This is one way that we attract the best. Okay, like no joke, literally several times the local market rate. And yeah,
yeah, and but there is a lot of devs, and I spoke to many
Oh,
of them.
so fresh, $500 a month, highly experienced. There's no cap. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me just. I mean, that's the thing. Okay, like I'm being very real with you that when it comes to highly experienced blockchain developers, like there's not a ceiling on that, bro. Um, you're when you're hiring these people, let me tell you what you're competing with. Okay, you're competing with like the rest of the market, comma globally. This is why companies hire remote. Okay, they hire remote to be able to source the best talent. And very often the wage level is not the primary concern. The primary concern is like, can you get the job done? Right. And the next piece of this, the more experienced somebody is, you're also competing with their own vision for their own product, usually in a related field. So there's that as well. And I want for Cosmos to attract and retain the best. I know that means the compensation should be high. Um, yeah.
Okay, high compensation. Um, Cosmos Hub.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that I did not see interested in Cosmos Hub. In fact, many people were quite negative about this. But when the proposal of Atom 2.0 happened, and the possibility of creation of councils, I suddenly start seeing some entities that from completely non-engaged become on the forefront of engagement into Cosmos Hub discussion. Do you think there is something suspicious about such activity happening?
Um, I try not to venture into
Mhm.
the land
I
of
understand.
conspiracies, but hang on, because I mean, to some degree, the answer is yes. And I believe that we should be looking at histories. Um, Git commit logs are, pretty
Mhm.
durable histories.
Yeah.
Um, However, I mean, you have a social media presence, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Right, but it makes for a durable history of Don Don, right?
I actually realize do you know like we are the heaviest Cosmos tweeters? I made like I become active
I
like a year
didn't
ago.
know
I
that.
made
That's really interesting.
9,000 tweets. You are quite long on the Twitter because you are from April 2007. You have 72,000 posts. I joined October 2020, but I wasn't posting very much. I have 9,000 tweets. We're like really like scrolling through my tweets is nightmare. I drop so many tweets. We are very active. So yeah, we make a lot of mess, but you know, because I do really like have a lot of concerns about entities being involved, Jacob. I see a lot of fake rhetoric there. Um, when you made the group about the bare metal alliance, there were people who were not bare metal and were ending in this group and were claiming openly on the open platform that they run bare metal, which is against the open source ideology. It's in fact the
Yeah,
lie.
for sure, for
And
sure.
the person who was lying was your close friend. um
What?
is Kevin not your friend?
Oh, Kevin's friend.
Yeah. He was claiming he ran bare metal validator while he was just doing Hetzner server. And
Well,
yeah.
we hang
Lied,
on. We
lied.
no. It's not actually fine. We clarified the standards around pyramidal commands because look.
No, because when I was asking you,
Let me
when I was
explain. Let me
Jacob,
explain.
at the same
Mhm.
time, I was asking you Does running rented bare metal server is okay? You said no. It was
Yeah,
public
it's
knowledge. It
not.
was no.
That's why I
And
reformulated the whole thing.
at the same time, Kevin was keep going and advertising himself as the bare metal server provider, being in the he's liar, he's grifter, he's liar and grifter. One more.
Relax a little. Those servers are marketed as bare metal by Hetzner.
It everyone knew what's the standard, unless someone is the retard. Everyone knew.
Well,
Everyone knew.
hang on. You might be missing a lot of context. So let me fill you in. All right, notional. We had the server that's like right over there, and um, so we began as like BMA compliant bare metal. In December 21, I got COVID and long moved servers to Hetzner. And more recently, we've moved everything that's possible to move back here to Vietnam. Anyhow, and certain chains, Osmosis, Juno, Secret Network, Cyber, have always been here, except for a short period of time because I was sick.
I'm just saying he lied openly, knowing what's the truth. And
Hang on though. There
at the
was
same time,
hang on. There was something worse though. There was a period of time where like people weren't really informed on what or how bad it was to use virtual machine to validate. So those virtual machines were only given a certain allocation of IOPS, input output operations per second. And frankly, for a long period of time, Hetzner like outperformed the hell out of those machines.
yeah,
Okay?
that's okay. I'm here just calling bullshit out of people doing deceptive marketing, because at the moment when I was tweeting, we just rent the servers and I do white label. The Oni run exactly the same business venture I do, saying they run bare metal
Wait,
servers.
didn't you
Exactly.
leave the Bare Metal Alliance and something about penises? That's
Sorry?
what I recall. You were ranting about penises.
I wasn't when I was doing this. I wasn't in the alliance. When I saw there was crypto like Mo, I swore at
I
him.
remember that. I remember that. I remember that.
I
Yes, yes, yes.
swore at him.
You were right. You were
I
right.
swore at him,
You were
and I
right.
left the group. And of
You were
course,
right.
truth
You
come
were right.
after that he was slashed multiple times. Like he made people lose
Yes,
money,
yes, yes.
and I was on the one who left the group. And I'm
I
telling you, I'm right about people. I can read people,
I
and
am not claiming to be able to read people. Okay.
I you
Um,
know, and I have big concerns. I'm telling you, if I see certain names in the Council of Cosmos, I'm gonna leave. Like I don't want anyone to feel bad about this, but I do not accept the piece of shit. Like I
buddy, if I were you, I mean, I would. You need to reflect on the fact that all the validators are your colleagues. You wouldn't really go with a piece of shit if you think there's
I'm not a colleague. I'm colleague with you, Jacob.
inaccuracies.
I'm not a colleague with these validators.
Well, you don't work for those validators, but you are their colleagues. Okay, you support decentralized networks side by side.
Wait,
Listen.
wait, wait.
I have
You
had
said
to
it right. You said it
disambiguate
right.
this myself many times.
You
Okay,
said it right. I support the centralized network.
yeah, with them,
Uh, and
they're your colleagues.
not all of them support.
Well, you don't have to support them, on an individual basis. You don't work for them,
Mhm.
okay? But
Be,
they're
be,
your colleagues. You see,
okay, okay.
and that's why I would strongly advocate, just taking a collegial tone with people.
Mhm.
And this can be hard. Lord knows I haven't always been able to do that. And it seems like we're about an hour here,
Yeah,
and I want to run. But
last
hang on,
question. Yeah.
I have a plead for you. Okay, look, it's been 20 years now that I've been working in open source with vast majority of my ventures in open source have failed. Okay, and it is something that I care about a lot, and Don, like I just feel that a massive contribution that you could make to the chains that you validate is stipulations around open source. Really, like, yeah, and a little bit of a pleading because, well, it's just something I care about a lot. I'd love to see you take lead on it. You'd obviously enjoy like my support fully, and
I'm
you know,
not really happy about that delegation because it actually ties like me to being subject to abuse from you later.
what?
Because you like to use
have I
arguments
have
to
I abused
delegate
you
this.
in the
You
past?
like to
Aren't
use.
I like your largest or second largest Juno delegator?
You are like
Am I abusing?
largest by far. No one really delegates to me, and then
Largest by
and then
far.
you
Okay.
say, uh, you know, but then you mentioned that you delegate to me quite often, and I
Yeah.
tell you, yesterday I was considering like closing the note, just
I
I
mean, you can.
because
Look, I won't be offended if you do.
because
Okay.
there is also I feel that the Juno swap guys are actually ragging. There was big dumps of raw tokens, which is quite sad to see
Oh
that
dear.
they used this huge they really like shattered the trust that community has given to them. It's tragic to see this,
I mean,
really.
that's worrisome because, well, look, I blindly LP'd
Yeah, sadly
some of.
I would like to hear the Ben speaking about this, uh why they decided to try to rag now these days. It's okay.
Well, I mean, are you sure that that's because you know you're using that's some pretty strong words. Um, but I mean, I'll tell you this personally, as a user of Juno Swap, I wasn't pleased by the sudden removal of incentives. Um, However, I mean, I don't know. Okay, I have this really terrible feeling that my LPs are a number in Juno Swap are like methed to death and stuff. Oh, one other thing. Um, for the time being, Notional will not be doing skip
Notional will not
not use skip.
skip up skip.
You know what skip is? It's the so-called good math. And keep in mind, this has
Is the
nothing to do.
protocol? You mean the skip protocol?
Yeah. Because that's live on Juno. I think it's live on Atmos too. Probably soon to be live on Osmosis. And I just want to tell you, Don, their team is fucking top notch. Okay. I had numerous calls with Skip. If I'd have been a little bit more creative, I would have finalized an investment in Skip. And I want to say that, like, overall, I support their mission.
I,
But
I,
our
I
validators are not going to adopt it at this time. I want to get a little bit more evidence on how it's playing out in the real world. And I want to make sure that Skip does not slow down software upgrades to chains. And yeah, so, but I want to make clear that even though we're not like pushing the button on Skip, that their work impressed the hell out of me. So just to the general audience, since Don, I actually think your content it gets viewed a lot. I just want to say that for the time being, Notional is not going to implement Skip, and that if we do, obviously the cat is going to tweet about it. We're going to tell you, and we'll tell you, likely before we do that. Um, and
There is one thing that I don't want to forget about.
yeah,
There's
sure.
you said something that it's important for you that the community can veto um, the spending of the councils of the or the sub DAOs, right?
Yeah, let me just say
And
real
I
quick.
want to let me. Do you think loop on Juno was the right spending?
I would like to see a gov prompt that ensures that we don't fund this.
Oh, okay. There were big questions about the first two tranches of funding, and and I wonder if you had the questions about like after two tranches or three tranches of loop funding, did you ever consider it might be not the best investment or funding?
Um, I think
Was
that I
there
didn't. Hang on. I think that I did not apply the right filter.
okay, and was there questions from other core members about this funding?
Yeah, but
So why no one vetoed this and it continued till all
well,
tranches were distributed? No one
can
come
you
forward,
can you
despite
please?
despite being aware, everyone knew and let it continue spending hundreds of $1,000 monthly on something that everyone knew is bad.
Well, okay, hang on. That's where you're wrong. Okay. Um,
The last tranche was just sent recently. No questions, just keep sending, just keep sending.
well,
That's how efficient the system is of
hold
Juno
on,
funding.
buddy. I think that we as a community agreed to do that, and I'm pleading with you. I think that the correct filter should be open or closed source.
But
Okay.
it's too late now, Jacob. I'm glad you now see the filter, but it's a little too late because it was distributed and everyone knew that there was incorrect filter about the first one or second tranche, and everyone decided
Wait,
to
wait,
let
wait.
it go.
Hang on. Can you? Because I didn't know.
Didn't know what.
Well, you're saying everybody knew here.
I heard the like the there was questions about loop financing after like first few tranches. But and you said it's important that community has power to veto that, and I'm trying to say that the community doesn't really exercise that. It
Um,
needs, this is why the community need leadership like
well,
Jake Harnell who would step in and stop it, and who
uh,
would come public and say, I think it's bad, we need to veto that, it needs
I
that.
I don't think it's sensible to go out and say that a funded project is bad. In fact, I want for them to knock it out of the fucking park. Okay, I want Luke to knock it out of the fucking park. Right, and I don't think it's without potential, and I do think that a really good filter for the future is open source. Okay, because
Is
when
Loop
we
open
fund,
source?
hmm?
Is Loop open source?
I have asked today. I would like details on both the contract and the wallet.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
don't think that the wallet is open source.
They will not be open source because they don't come from this background.
Well, there you go, John. But you know what? Open or closed source. I want everybody to hear me. I want them to knock it out of the fucking park and win. Okay. I am not going to come out and say, "Oh, finance is bad." Um, I will say I'm not really aligned with closed source work. Okay, that's not the future that I want to see. Um, but I'm not going to talk shit on a funded project. I'm going to say, hey, Luke guys, if you need anything, I'm here to help.
Mhm.
Um,
And if Loop dies, do you think there will be consequences for the people who incentivize that and criticize people like me for raising concerns? In fact, blocking me, putting me against the community, calling me negative contribution. Do you think there will be consequences to these people or not?
I think that a really good first step is a
Mhm.
governance proposal banning any incentivization of proprietary work from
I
Juno
want
community funds.
consequences. I want these people who provide harm out.
I think that you need to extrapolate and realize that a guideline like that is quite powerful. Um, and I think that you're like calling for doom and gloom consequences on Kevin or Oni. They're colleagues,
No,
okay?
only. I like the other guy, but Kevin is Parasite, who is spreading across Cosmos Change, and
They
he,
work together, buddy. They work together. This is like trying to like say, well, like I
Jacob,
like notional,
it
but
needs to be stopped till it's
fuck Jacob. We need only kind.
it needs to be
It
stopped.
doesn't work.
It 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 needs to be stopped till it's spread too much. This guy is everywhere where there is community funds available. This guy is everywhere where like I was in DAO
I
contributor chat. The guy is there. The guy infesting every corner of the ecosystem. I never seen him doing anything for DAO. The guy was signer of constitution. What the fuck, Jacob?
well, I
What
mean,
the fuck?
I should have been a signer of the Constitution, and I failed to sign it.
Why this guy is C-root? What the fuck is
uh,
going on? Tell me what the fuck is going on. Do you know what's
well,
going on?
I'm C-root.
Why is he C-root? He can't do a shit.
Bro, like, we made it so that all heavy contributors to Juno are C-root. It's
Well, the guy contributions are negative so far. That's my.
well, okay,
I'm gonna call him
and
out because I know what you expect because you were asking me for months. No, don't come after him. It's not the right way. But I'm telling you, Jacob,
well, I'm offering you. Hang on.
if the guy is coming at me,
Hmm.
I'm gonna eat the fucker alive.
Well,
I will
I
not
tried that
stop.
with Jay.
He
I
is.
tried that with Jay, and honestly,
I
by the
will
way, and
because
I'm from Buffalo, New York, so I mean, I
the
did the
guy
right thing
the guy
given.
came after me yesterday saying I'm negative contribution. Not even and claiming like, yeah, I don't watch his videos because he like no like he saying I'm negative contribution to it's he's serious.
Yeah.
And so I took it as the claiming that he will uh, fight against me being incentivized
Well,
in any
you know
form.
how we worked out
This
C
guy,
root though.
this guy,
You know
this
how we
guy,
worked out C root. It was a long ass conversation. Um,
this guy should never get involved. This guy is parasite. I'm saying to you, parasite.
all right, and I'm saying to you, colleague. I'm
He's not
also
my
saying
colleague.
to you.
He's not. If like and
I'm saying to you, open source only. I'm saying to you that's like a really good filter. Um,
well, the guy is not incentivizing open source despite being C-root. I know you're being tired of this conversation, but if this guy
well, I
come at
mean,
me,
you're not going to get me to label Kevin a parasite. Um,
oh, you don't have
I,
to. That's my words. That's my words, not yours.
I realize that. And I mean, a lot of what I've seen is really enthusiastic contribution. And
Great actor.
ooh,
Great actor. He's from California, so he can do this.
what? Wait, what? What?
I mean, Kevin is pretty good actor.
Um,
He's just a little bit sensitive. Try to criticize him once. The guy losing it right away. Sociopath. Only sociopaths do that.
I, buddy, I'm not one for you know.
I know you
All
want to
right,
go.
I'm gonna go. No, I
Yeah,
am gonna go, and
of
I'm
course.
gonna. I'm going to remind you that, you know, open source, it's
Open
really
source
critical.
and as
Well, yeah,
the
because
as
when open source work gets funded, right, and if it results in anything, that work is reusable
Mhm, mhm.
and just makes things work better.
And we at
You know
Juno
what?
never
Another, you
incentivize.
want to know what would be a huge delight, right? I hop off of this call and I find that actually everything that Luke did is open source. I'd be effing delighted. Okay. And I want them to win. I want everybody who's been building steadfast on Juno to win. And like, that's kind of my final word on that matter. I also think it's done. You want to contribute like huge open source requirement proposal, please. Thank you. Bye, audience.
Okay, Jake, I would say something, but maybe no
What
reason.
you want to say something? I'll give you like 30 seconds.
Maybe Oni outran me. He loves putting proposals.
Maybe what?
Maybe Oni will outrun me. He loves putting proposals. He knows it pays. He knows it fucking pays.
Wait, buddy.
Oh, how should I vote in Prop 57? Is it positive or not?
Let me go look at it, okay?
Yeah. Juno Prop 57. Oracle
Hmm.
on Juno. And
I okay.
I
You
don't.
want to talk through it? Would you like to,
Yeah,
real quick?
because I don't really understand much.
Okay, cool. No,
Like,
check it out. All right. Now, first of all, we have to we've got to put aside this notion that Kevin and Odie are just degenerate shitbags, okay? Because they're not. All right. And let's talk about the case for and against an Oracle on Juno. I'm for it, by the way. Hesitantly, by the way. Okay. So, having an Oracle on Juno is going to make running a validator harder. The reason that it's going to make running a validator harder is that the validators will all have to submit information for a price feed every block. The benefit to having an Oracle on Juno is that Juno is going to have fresh price information that's local to Juno. In Cosmos, we're talking about this these days in terms of synchronous versus asynchronous DeFi. Most likely, the ecosystem's IBC oracle is going to turn out to be Osmosis. The reason for that is that Osmosis has pretty good liquidity. The prices on Osmosis are likely to match the prices elsewhere. But now we got to talk about synchronous versus asynchronous for a second, okay? So if Juno consumes Osmosis's prices, which it will, this is something that both Notional and Strangelove are working out how to do over IBC, creating basically a second oracle. Okay, so there's that GovProp 57 about the oracle, all right, and there is a second oracle, which will be basically Osmosis's live prices delivered via IBC. Thing is, to grab those prices, there's going to be about a 20-second IBC wong, you know what I mean? The back and forth for the packets. You with me? Yeah? Okay.
Mhm.
So, I am hesitantly in support of the Oracle, but let me, I think I've told you
Because
like,
this Pairs, I think he's good guy. He voted no, and I wonder like what would be his reason. What would be reason to vote no, for example?
okay, cool. I think he's a good guy too. He has made amazing software contributions throughout Cosmos. Okay. If I had to guess, his reason for voting no is complexity. The Oracle will add complexity to Juno's software stack. And let me tell you, if that's his reasoning for voting no, well, Jacob's right there with him. Jacob's at a hesitant yes, in that The argument for the Oracle is frankly pretty strong. Okay, with the Oracle, Juno becomes a place where synchronous decentralized finance is possible. Right, at present, it isn't possible. Well, it was. I mean, things actually got a lot worse with the loss of Juno swap. I'll have to look into the raw stuff and check my LP positions. But basically, Juno swap could have been a source of pricing information, similar to the way that some Ethereum contracts use Uniswap. You understand?
I guess.
Well, you can get like an Ether price quote, for example, from Uniswap, right? Like, look at how it's trading against, say, USDC or USDT. Or, you get my point?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, the downside is complexity. The blocks are going to get bigger. Like, we will put more information in each block of Juno, okay? And the upside is being able to build out a synchronous DeFi ecosystem that's like without the IBC hops. So there you go. Our team, Notional team, did work on that, and the origination of that code, it comes from stuff developed by both Kujira and Umi. So how did I do? Did I give you a good rundown on like
I think it's
the ups
pretty
and
good.
downs of
Yeah,
it?
like yeah. So I should vote yes.
I think so. I'm a yes, but I'm a hesitant yes, and I
Then
do
I'll do
keep.
abstain first, and I will think about it. Maybe.
You can do that too. You know.
Yeah, some people
Uh,
abstained. Easy staking. I think I don't like the guy, but he's I think clever guy.
I don't know.
Just, what was the fallout? Patmos and Jack Zampolin. Do they know each other in person?
I don't think so.
They had fallout. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a lot of fallout around '82, and
Do
it's
you know?
unfortunate.
Do you know Patmos in person? Have
No,
you met him? You never met him.
no, I don't know about this.
So he did not expose himself during Cosmoverse.
No. Listen, I mean, I'll tell you what Putmos is to me. It's a cute dog meme that promised a liquid staking thing and never shipped it.
Yeah,
And
this is a little bit concerning, because Patmos made probably like $1 million from staking because he jumped to like top 5 early on at the all-time high price. Promised a lot of stuff, like really a lot, made a lot of money along the way, and there was nothing ever delivered, like
yeah,
nothing.
I know.
Um,
And,
so,
and people will jump all over me for saying that, but
and
it's the
and
truth.
it's still very high in the ranks and with
I
huge
know.
power.
It's
And
unfortunate, isn't it?
maybe it's time to end this as well.
I,
Another fly, another fly
look.
to the
I'm not a fan.
and
Bottom line.
and and
Okay.
that's another member of the Terra developer fund who decide of incentivizing certain projects.
Putmos.
Yes, he's the
Interesting.
member together there with some others, which
All
which
right. Well, look.
I think we need
You're
to
not
change it.
going to
I
find
think
me.
I think we really need to engineer monetary and incentivize values in different way, and we need to make sure that what happens on Juno will not happen on Cosmos. I think it's very
Well, I mean, I think that a really good filter is open source code. I strongly believe that that is an excellent starting point. I also believe that Don, I'm kind of putting an impetus on you. Okay, what I'm saying is, bro, like, stand up, all right? Start making gov prompts that implement your vision. Get your ideas out there, okay? Because otherwise, if you just complain, okay, if you just
You are
complain,
right.
well,
Yeah.
Kevin's gonna XYZ, I don't give a shit. Okay. Um, I I feel strongly that like a really easy, actionable win for Don Don is stipulating that anything funded by Juno, by Osmo, by the hub is open source. I think that actually you would be met with like thunderous applause from all of the teams. You know why? We've done this for nearly a decade. Okay.
Which projects that were funded by Juno are not open source? If you can name it, maybe, or the same about the
Well,
Cosmos,
I don't know.
right?
And hang on. And what I'm saying is, I have suspicions about the source code of Loop, but this is not the point. Okay. Um, the point is actually, I want you to go from a position of, yeah, just kind of complaining, right, to a position where you're driving policy, right? I want you to know that stipulations around open source to at least the Apache 2 level, have my very, very strong support. You might look into Larry's recent tweets about SSDP. It was pretty interesting. He found an open source license that stipulates far beyond what most open source licenses stipulate in terms of, SSDP. It seems to stipulate that when you use, MongoDB in this case, you also need to release code that allows you to reproduce every component to your stack, including front end, back end componentry. Follow Larry, okay?
Well, I follow Larry. Larry is great. We work
Good.
in the same company, kind of work. I'm an official employee there.
Really?
So, but yeah, Larry is apparently great specialist, right, in Cosmos and in Rust.
You're unofficially with Delphi?
No, no, no. Stargaze. I think Larry is involved in the Stargaze. No,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
maybe not officially. Like
I
also,
wouldn't talk about these things as companies. He's your colleague in supporting a chain,
yeah.
just
Do
like
you
he's
know
my
why I
colleague at Stargaze.
do you know what's really interesting to see? Because in Stargaze you cannot just get fans. And did you notice that there is like you can see like nothing gets drained there. And there is no controversy regardless spending. Like we might be doing maybe the founder driven leadership is the way.
Um, you know what? Did Shane ever tell you about the conversation I had with Shane?
No, you didn't. But but like Shane is. Do you know like my view of Shane, like he's so experienced. He's a little bit older than me, right? He's been actually working in IT since the dot-com bubble. Like
Yeah.
since like he's the
Shane
prime
is
OG.
fucking awesome.
So and
And you know that I built blockchain social media network, right?
I didn't know, but I know
I mean,
Stargate.
it's a fork, so I didn't build like every piece of it, okay? Because Flirt is a fork of Steven that we
Oh
made.
yeah, this one I know. I know Shane tried
Okay.
to build social media, and I think the Stargaze can have its part there, but we'll see.
What do you think he was talking about when he referred to a pivot? I think it's brilliant.
Mhm.
Absolute full support, and I want to see Shane's skills go to work there. I mean, I hope that's the pivot he was talking about because um, that that line of thought, okay, that line of thought is actually what drove me to get involved in Stargaze way before Genesis.
I that's how I want you to see the NFTs. Like this is your social
That's how I
network,
do
and
see
it's
the NFTs. Don't worry.
because this is the essentially the way to leave the meta like platforms like the and you don't even need to have gated community via token via the NFT. But the NFTs create kind of the network, and I will mention the miladies of the you remember you like
Yes.
the
Don, I must run though, like where
yeah.
because super, but Don, me, okay, Don, I want you to get active, okay. Otherwise, it'll become clear to me that you are just bitching, okay. So like,
I make content
don't.
every day, Jacob. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what you
yeah,
should
yeah.
know. Like,
You're a validator, and you have concerns, about the state of networks, and the way to address this, in my opinion, is through governance. All right,
mhm.
and I support you. I like seriously value your work. Um, you are even Cosmos. You're Cosmos's best interviewer, and I mean, it's the truth. Um, so please step up to governance. Um, Open source is a really, really good filter, and I believe that also, you know, your ideas are not invalid. You should talk to Sam, okay? Because his ideas aren't invalid either, and
I
you
will
should
ask
figure out.
Sam for live chat. We've been due to make it. I'll message him again and do the
Good,
proper one. Yeah,
good,
yeah. Jacob.
yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go. Here is
All right.
the meow meow saying bye.
Meow.
Meow meow meow. Say
We
the
do
bye
love
bye.
kitties at Notional.
Oh, Jacob, are you working out? You working on the diet? Because I saw your food. It didn't look too good. To be honest, it looked loaded with calories.
Oh well, I am. Oh, my food? Well, I mean, I'm eating only fat and protein.
It's
And it
not
works.
necessary. Like what you need to do, like just eat less. Don't eat in the morning. Eat less, and go less on carbs. Don't drink beer. When you drink vodka soda. Okay, that's the
Okay.
your only one alcohol. Don't drink beer. Forget about beer. Whiskey, forget about whiskey and all of this stuff. Fair is actually okay. It's not too heavy in calories.
Wait. I'm sorry. Why is I'm confused. Why is vodka soda better than whiskey?
Sorry again.
Well, you said whiskey's bad, vodka soda is acceptable.
Low whiskey has more calories. It has a lot, like very heavy.
Hmm. Okay. All
But
right. Bye bye, Don.
yeah, okay, like yeah, vodka soda clean. You'll be
Okay.
fine if you need to drink alcohol. I know you like alcohol, so bye bye, Jacob. Thank you
I,
for
I, I
listening.
actually haven't been drinking,
That's good. That's even
but I do
better.
like alcohol.
That's even better.
See you, buddy.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.